Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some shorter-term technical analysis on Bitcoin because, guys, as you can see, finally, Bitcoin has done something interesting. We've broken bearish around $500 from where we were trading a little earlier this morning at 8 grand down to $7,400 as a new temporary bottom. Guys, just as the market was getting boring, things ramped up. We talked about exactly that in this video right here. I was discussing in this video, go back and watch it, about how Bitcoin trading sideways for so long and how the Bollinger Bands were constricting on themselves was indicating that we were probably about to see a major move in the next couple of days. You can go watch that video because that's exactly what has happened. Bitcoin has broken to the downside. Furthermore, guys, Bitcoin has not hit our first price target of $7,200 yet, and we are in a bear flag. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing whether or not Bitcoin is headed towards that 7.2 level and what the future for Bitcoin looks like now that we have fallen below 7750. Before we dive on into it, I will remind you guys of the sale running on CT2A. If you guys would like to learn how to do technical analysis on these markets and learn how to predict movements like this so that you can short the market appropriately or long the market when the time comes, a very good resource that you are going to want to have at your disposal are the 10 hours of content here in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. The link and a $40 off coupon code for that are down below. But anyway, if you guys do enjoy today's video, make sure you smash that like button or I'll have to tell my team of whales to crash the market again. But without much further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Guys, let's actually start over on CoinMarketCap. We don't do this much anymore, but I do want to show you the bloodbath going on. It's not just in Bitcoin. The altcoins are getting eviscerated also. Not much has happened on Bitcoin dominance because the altcoins are crashing also. Check this out, guys. Look at the 7-day price graphs here. I mean, just look at this, guys. Every single altcoin except for Paxos is in the red. They've all started to crash. But guys, before we get into the technical analysis, there's one point I want to make very early on, and that is that if you've been watching this channel, you knew that this move was coming. That's the first point, so it's nothing to be concerned about. And second of all, there's nothing to be concerned about also because, guys, no matter what Bitcoin does, no matter how far Bitcoin crashes, the fundamentals and the underlying value of Bitcoin is still there. Just because Bitcoin has moved to the downside, just because we've had a crash, that doesn't mean anything. All that means is that Bitcoin is getting a little bit lower so that we can get a little bit more Bitcoin and have a little bit more profits when Bitcoin rallies back to $20,000 and beyond. There's nothing to be worried about here, guys. There's really not. I mean, guys, seriously, someone posted this in the Discord server earlier, and this is absolutely perfect. We got the Bitcoin portfolio getting annihilated back here, but the hodlers are just busy looking at crypto memes, guys, because who actually cares if Bitcoin's crashing if you're in this space for the long term? It's really not that big of a concern. So with all that out of the way, hopefully you guys aren't freaking out. Hopefully you guys aren't getting scared because I know a lot of people are going to. Let's dive into the technical analysis. Now you will have to excuse me, guys. I think I'm coming down with the flu, but either way, guys, as you know, Bitcoin has been trading sideways here for the last couple of weeks. We saw Bitcoin move into a falling wedge. It broke bullish, falling wedge, broke bullish, but we didn't have the same continue of that bullish breakout as we did over here. Notice this. Bitcoin had a bull flag here and we broke bullish. Over here, we had a bull flag and we did not break bullish. We broke bearish. This was an early warning sign, and unfortunately, we didn't catch it on a video, but I did notice that, and that eventually led to us crashing. Now notice, guys, I did talk about that in a video. I believe it was yesterday's video, actually, because if you look on the daily chart, what we were doing is we were rejecting and, well, at the time, we were testing the 20 daily exponential moving average, which we did, in fact, reject off of, and that is what drove us to the downside. We rejected off of it back here on October 10th, pulled back. We had enough room and enough bullish strength to pull back only to 7750 and bounce. This time was not the case, though. We did fall through it. Notice, guys, that we were looking at an uptrend on the daily chart RSI. That uptrend, as the way we had drawn it, has in fact been broken. Although I will point this out, and that is that we can kind of redraw this uptrend for right now, although I don't think this is going to last very long, as I'm expecting the price target for Bitcoin to move to is $7,200, as we'll be discussing here in just a second. Also, guys, you know I've been looking at the MACD very closely here over the last couple of weeks, and I've been talking about how, yes, MACD is bullish, but it's not actually bullish. We're just kind of generally, gradually moving back up towards zero. It was not the kind of bullish, diverging MACD that I would have liked to see. What instead we saw is that MACD was kind of just moving up, and it was just kind of, it was diverging one day, it was converging the next day, and it started converging on itself quite heavily, and then we had a little bit of a blip, it diverged, and now it started converging again. Nevertheless, we are looking at a bearish MACD cross, which is, of course, what we were expecting. We've been discussing that for the last couple of weeks as well. So guys, where does all this leave us? Where does this leave Bitcoin? Where does this leave our market? Well, one thing I'll say is that yes, Bitcoin probably is going down to $7,200, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen today, although I personally believe it it will. The reason I say that is because if we bring up our Bollinger Bands, as we can see, guys, Bollinger Bands are showing that Bitcoin is very much overextended. But the reason for that is not because this is a big move. It's because we've had so little volatility here over the last couple of weeks that it's very easy for us to get overextended on the Bollinger Bands. We've seen this happen before. We saw it happen over here on September 24th when Bitcoin crashed, and we've seen it happen when Bitcoin rallies, like we saw back on the April Fool's rally earlier this year. All this means is that this crash might be delayed about 12 hours, but that doesn't necessarily mean that has to happen. Either way, guys, I definitely believe Bitcoin's going down to $7,200. And quite frankly, I think that'll be healthy for the market because since we've crashed, Bitcoin hasn't crashed very far below 7750. Check this out, guys. If you're in CT2A, you will know of the video gauging the strength of support and resistance and gauging the strength of the bulls and the bears. Two very important videos and two very important concepts. As I talk about in those videos, when Bitcoin breaks a level of support or resistance, there's a small window of clairvoyance where you can tell exactly how strong the bulls and the bears are. And that moment comes after you break a major level of support or resistance. Bitcoin has just broken a major level of support, so we get a very clear picture as to how strong the bulls and the bears are. Look at this. Bitcoin only crashed after it broke below 7750. It only crashed 3%. I definitely think that Bitcoin is bearish right now, but I don't think Bitcoin is that bearish or we would have gone to $7,200 by now. Even though this crash only happened an hour ago, considering how low the volume is right now, also how thin the order books are because of the time of day, Bitcoin should have already crashed to $7,200 if the bears were very strong. So what that means is I think there's going to be a slow, gradual drill down to $7,200 over the next 12, 24, 48 hours. I don't think it's going to come immediately, but I do think it's going to come. And like I said, I think it's actually going to be a good thing that is coming. As you guys know, $7,200 is an important level. One of the major reasons that it's important is because it's a Fibonacci level. In fact, it's the 61.8% Fibonacci level. It lines up almost perfectly with 7,200. For Bitcoin to pull back to the 61.8% Fibonacci level would actually be a very good thing, and the reason for that is because it gives Bitcoin a proper bottom. 7,750 was kind of arbitrary. It was just, it was a bit of a weird number, to be honest with you, but $7,200 makes a lot of technical sense, and it's a very good argument for the bulls when they say that Bitcoin should bounce. It's a very good argument for the analysts to say that Bitcoin should bounce. And what that means is that that level is going to give the bulls strength and it's going to detract from the strength of the bears. So what I'm not saying is that Bitcoin cannot go below $7,200. Bitcoin most certainly can, but I think our first pit stop anyway is going to be at $7,200, and there's a pretty good chance that we hold that actually. If not, you guys know the next price target is down at $6,400 and $6,000 in the zone in between those two levels. But I don't personally believe that we need to go that low just yet. Now, one more scenario here to wrap the video out is this. Bitcoin goes to $7,200 over the next couple of days, and then what we see is we see a death cross here in the next week or so from the 50 and the 200 on our daily chart moving averages, and then this drives us even lower. That would be most unfortunate, and that is something that could definitely happen. If Bitcoin does come down here, trade sideways for a few days, we see the death cross, that could push us all the way down to $6,000. If this death cross wasn't coming, I'd be more confident that $7,200 would hold, but I can't say that with as much certainty considering this move is coming, guys. So watch out for this in the coming days as well. It's getting very close. We're probably going to have our cross around October 26th to October 27th. But anyway, I think we've covered everything we need to cover, guys. We've talked about our moving averages. We've talked about our technical indicators. We've talked about scenarios. We've talked about why Bitcoin broke to the downside and where I think Bitcoin is going. I don't think I'm missing anything. If I am, tell me in the comment section down below and we'll be sure to cover it in the next video. But guys, before we close the video out, I just want to remind you of something, and that is that the chart doesn't affect the fundamentals for Bitcoin. Not directly anyway. Sometimes it will if there's a major move on the chart, like the bear market starting in 2018. If there's something like that happening, it will affect the fundamentals to a certain degree. In general, though, guys, the fundamentals are not affected in the slightest by the chart. It's the other way around. It's a purely causal relationship that the fundamentals have on the technicals. It's not really the other way around. There's not really a backwards effect that the technicals have on the fundamentals. The technicals in the chart, they don't really affect the fundamentals. The fundamentals are independent of that, and they affect the technicals. It's not the other way around. And what that means is that when Bitcoin crashes, it doesn't normally affect the fundamentals. It normally doesn't bring the fundamentals with it. If the fundamentals were a trend line, they were going something like this, Bitcoin crashing is not going to really bring that fundamental down very much. It might do it a little bit because people are a little less bullish on Bitcoin. People are moving into the market a little bit less, but it's not actually going to affect the fundamentals that much. The reason I bring that up, guys, is because the fundamentals are the things that are propping up the market. That underlying intrinsic value that we've been talking about here on the channel for nearly 2 years now is the thing that is propping the market up, that is continuing to drive Bitcoin. And Bitcoin crashing has not affected that, which means that Bitcoin every dollar that it moves to the downside is getting another dollar overextended in the bearish direction, which means that when we start moving again, we're probably going to start moving to the upside. When we start getting a lot more volatility, after we bottom out, we're probably going to have another major move to the upside. Even if that takes till the end of the year and on into January, it's going to happen, guys, because Bitcoin is worth more than it's trading right now. That's what my gut feeling is saying. So do me and you a big solid. Don't get freaked out about this move. Don't get scared about this move. Don't say, okay, I'm leaving the market. I give up. I quit. I don't want to be in Bitcoin anymore, because that's a mistake. I'm not going to give you financial advice and tell you what to invest in, but I will say this. If you leave crypto now because you're worried about it crashing, you're making a big mistake. And guys, it was in the vein of teaching you how to actually learn and trade and profit in these markets that we made CT2A. We made this academy a little over a year ago, launched on September 23rd, exactly 13 months ago today, actually. And ever since then, we've had 900 students join us on our journey of learning technical analysis, guys. And they and I have been loving every minute of it, because what I love seeing is students join the academy and then they go to Discord, or they go to the email, or they go to the comment section under these videos and they tell me what they learned, they tell me how they implemented what they learned, and they tell me what the effects of what they learned are. Profit. Guys, it's very important that you understand technical analysis. I mean, you can go back on the channel. We called this move. We've been calling this move for like 3 weeks now. The reason that we were able to do that is because we knew the technicals on Bitcoin. We understood the forces that drive Bitcoin, and it's very important that you guys do also. There's a reason that I keep harping about education. It's because it's so important. There's a reason that people spend half a decade of their life in college and the first decade and a half of their life in primary school. It's because education is extremely important, and if you're trying to go and fly by the seat of your pants and learn these markets, I'll tell you something, that can work, but it's going to take a lot more time. Take it from me. I learned these markets on my own. It took me over 1,000 hours of research working in these markets every single day to getting to know what I needed to know. I could have taken this academy for $159 and learned all of it by Friday. Seriously. There's no question in my mind that an education is worth every single penny. Now, you don't even have to take my academy. If you find another one that's better and you like it more, by all means. I want you guys to take the academy and take the education that's going to suit you best, but I do personally believe that CT2A is the best course for learning technical analysis on the market. I designed it to be that way. So I encourage you guys to join our Discord server down below and talk to some of our students, see what they think. I'd love for you to get their take on it. Don't just take it from me. And when you decide that you do want to join CT2A and you do want to start learning about these markets, you do want to start learning how to trade these markets, how to predict these markets, how to invest in these markets, and most importantly, how to profit in these markets, the link to CT2A and the $40 off coupon code are in the description down below. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. Like I said, if you don't like this video, I'm going to have to tell my team of whales to crash Bitcoin again, and we wouldn't want that, would we? So make sure you hit that like button, or my team of whales are going to have to get very busy once again. They were busy this morning, and I didn't even tell them to do that, but oh well. But anyway, jokes aside, guys, that is actually going to wrap it up for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for listening to my flu-ridden self for the last 15 minutes, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.